Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I haven't done a actual live stream in like 6 months, so I figured I'd do it. Greetings, Runai from Paris. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to talk about today, so I'm really going to be counting on whoever shows up here to kind of lead me in the right direction. But I do want to start out by showing something that was sent to me the other day. It's the new album from Starquake at the Circus. Mikey Wenzel from Germany was kind enough to send this to me, and it's really awesome. I love it. Check it out. I will be doing my best of 2023 episode next week. The best of so far, right? I mean, we are 6 months into it. And the one thing that I have noticed about 2023 is it's got probably more good albums so far than 2022, but not as many great albums. So far, I'm only really counting a couple of great albums. Obviously, my highest rated album of the year so far was Seven Impale Summit. What a great album this is. Probably coming in second place right now would be the new Lars Frederick Frosley. But I'm telling you, I'm doing an album review next week that's going to blow these two albums out of the water. Can you believe that? And it's also from Norway. And I don't know what's going on about the Norwegian prog scene, but for years it was always Sweden was, kind of is the bigger country, more people, bigger GDP, a lot more bands. But I'm here to tell you, man, Norway is on fire right now. And next week, I'm going to be reviewing an album that is just going to knock your socks off. It's called the Chronicles of Father Robin, and it is led by the great Andreas Wetterman Stramos Prestmo from Wobbler, and he is joined by a couple people from Tusmore, a couple people from Yordzio. So if you notice behind me, I've got the wall of Norway going on back there because I am just so excited about this project. Going to talk a little bit about it. Because I have just, I got it like 2 weeks ago. Andreas sent it to me. Jeff is in the house. How you doing, Jeff? Yeah. Dominion and Redemption are my favorites. Yeah. Zop and Mystery. Good call. Those are two really, really, really good albums. I dig both of them a lot. That Zop record was really cool. I dug it a lot, but I'm totally into that new Mystery album. And I've never been a huge fan of Mystery. I always thought they were more like AOR with a little bit of, prog flourishes thrown in the mix. But this new album from them is great. They've got a great singer that replays Benoit David. I just love it. More comments out. Renai says there's a new Neil Morris Christian prog concept album coming out. Yes, there is. It was announced yesterday. It's called Joseph Part 1. It's not Jesus' dad. It's Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat Joseph, who was sold into slavery into Egypt and whatever that story is, man. I remember back in college, I played guitar in the jazz band. So whenever the drama class had a musical, they'd always get us to play. And I remember playing on the college rendition of Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Yeah, what's this? I can't see this. What's going on there? A lot of people have different opinions on these box sets. Yes, they do. I'm not a big fan of spending money on box sets, to be honest with you. Let's see what this guy's got to say. Recommend you to listen to the band Shishit. Really great Israeli prog band. I don't know them. I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Andrew's in the house. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought about whatever, but I wanted to get through these comments here. Counterfeit Reality. When will you make the Oldfield discography ranking? Yeah, I haven't heard all of his albums. He's got a whole bunch, but I guess I probably heard like most of them. There's probably only 4 or 5 that have slipped through the cracks over the years. So yeah, if I spent a day or two filling in the holes, I could probably do an Oldfield ranking. I've actually got a whole list of things that I want to do. There's a Jethro Tull ranking I still have not done. Crazy, right? I still haven't ranked Pink Floyd. I've got a few other things that probably would go ahead of Oldfield, but I'll definitely get around to it at some point. Hey, is All Media Reviews in the house? Great channel. Love you. Yeah. Frost. Somebody's talking about Frost here. Yeah, I like Frost a lot. I particularly like those first two albums where you had the Andy Edwards, John Jowett rhythm section that's just unbeatable. They were just dynamite on IQ's Frequency, and now they got a new band called Rain. They put 2 albums out. Very, very cool. I love Frost. Good deal. Yeah, he was going to mention Frost. Yeah, it's a band that I've always loved. But I was actually talking about what's going on next week with the Chronicles of Father Robin. Man, I am so excited about it. Members of Tusmort, Yordzio, Wobbler getting together. It's a triple album box set that drops Friday. So I'm going to be doing my review Monday. I've had it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't think they're happy that I didn't get to it before release date, but it was just a whole bunch of music to get through. It's 2 hours worth of music, and it's very much Wobbler indebted, but it's got so much more going on. Hey, you're taking off. You got to study. Hey, have a great day, Counterfeit Reality. I'm living in a different reality too. So yeah, Jeff Shilka, this guy has commented on my videos. I think he's hit 1,000 comments. Certainly my number 1 commenter. Yeah, here's my buddy right here, Goran. This is my boy right here. This is one of my primary sources. I'm telling you, people ask all the time, where do you hear about all these bands and albums and stuff like that? And yeah, we have our resources. You got the Prog Report and Prog Archives and Progressive Ears and this, that, and the other thing, and different Facebook pages. But there's a cat on Instagram called the New Dawn of Prog. Goran, I forget what you call yourself. Why don't you make sure you let me know what you call yourself on the Instagram? But this dude from Bosnia, man, let me tell you something. He knows more about Prog in his little finger than I know in my whole body. And as a result, I do get a lot of tips from him, ideas from him. And the Chronicles of Father Robin, man, that is just going to be unbelievable. I'm so excited. And Renai's talking about Silence to Somewhere. Yeah, if I had to pick my favorite album from the 21st century in the Prog avenue, it would probably be From Silence to Somewhere. I know Similitude of a Dream would probably get some consideration there. Maybe Hand Cannot Erase. There's a few, but I'm just sold on Wobbler. I love what they do. I am a huge, huge fan. Yeah, we're talking about, yeah. Somebody's asking about the Moron Police. Yeah, that Boat on a Sea was a really, really good record. I guess they one of the members of the Moron Police died last year, so I'm not sure where that leaves them. I got to check in with them. But yeah, great band, really fun, really cool stuff, just kind of nuts. But I enjoy that kind of stuff. But yes, so I am really hoping that next week I'm going to be doing my Chronicles of Father Robin review, and then I'll be doing the best of 2023. So far, I've got like about 120 albums so far this year that I've listened to in Prog, and then probably another 80 to 100 in the non-Prog sphere, because I do like to keep up on what's going on in the world. Yeah, but what is my opinion of the Straubs? Yeah, man, I like them, but I get why people don't like the singing. Yeah, that is the problem with a lot of bands is, the singers. That's why I did my top instrumental albums of all time list this week, because I'm telling you, sometimes I just get really sick and tired of hearing these people that can barely come up with a decent lyric, or, obviously have no singing ability at all, because I know if you just went to the local high school, you'd find at least 10 cats, maybe 20, maybe 100 that can sing better. So why are you putting up with a horrible singer in your band? And the horrible lyrics, don't get me started on that. That's a big reason why I was kind of gravitating towards foreign language prog, because I was getting sick of the bad lyric writing. So instrumental prog definitely is something that I've been real happy about. Okay, let's keep up on these comments. Do you think Yes could go on without Steve? Well, it's going to have to happen at some time. I mean, Steve isn't getting no younger. What would the future of Yes be without Steve Howe? Maybe if he died, maybe the rights would transfer to Dylan. And I don't know what would happen at that point. I think it would be the end of Yes, unless before his untimely departure, he was able to, kiss and make up with John Anderson, get him back in the band, and then maybe Yes could continue. But yeah, it's really the Steve Howe show now, so he's indispensable. Yeah, what a coincidence. Yeah. Oh, okay. A new album from the Moron Police is coming. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because I really did like that Boat on the Sea album. That was really good. Yeah, there's no original members left, and Yes, and a lot of people do have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it, and the primary reason why is because Chris Squire said don't have a problem with it, right? It was his stated intention that Yes should go on forever and ever and ever. And who am I to say otherwise? Yeah, I would really much rather have Rick Wakeman and John Anderson in the band than Jeff Downes and John Davison. But it is what it is. We'll take it as it comes. And Mirror to the Sky was actually fantastic. I'm wondering just how high I'm going to be ranking Mirror to the Sky in my best of 2023 episode, but we'll see. Amoeba Split, yeah, that's another one. Trust me, that's going to be on my list. Great band, a Canterbury band. I really dig that record a lot. Jacob's here from Quebec City. Oh, let's see, my top 3 Steven Wilson Porcupine Tree tracks. That'd be a tough one, but I can tell you right off the rip what number 1 would be. And I think you all know what that is. Anesthetized. I can't say it. You know the song. It's amazing. Yeah. Yes, it's so strong as a concept that it just doesn't die. Yeah, exactly. Yes is more than a band. That's the thing people need to understand. Yes is an idea. Yes is a concept. Yes is a philosophy. Yes is a way of doing business. And every single person who's ever joined Yes has had to, fit into that philosophical way of doing business. It's a little different than the kind of political constraints Robert Fripp put on his bandmates in King Crimson. This was like a weird democracy with a lot of different egos, and it's now settled down to just Steve Howe's ego. And so it's a little bit easier to deal with. And as a result, the Mirror to the Sky is actually really good. What would be your golden team? Hey, that's a good one, Attila. Yeah, let's think about that. I did episodes on my top singers, guitar players, drummers, bass players, keyboard players. Let's see if I can remember who I had at number 1 on all those. At bass player, obviously, really, really easy. That's got to be Chris Squire. At singer, believe it or not, I had Peter Gabriel. My number 1 guitar player, I had Steve Hackett. Let's see. On drums, I had Bill Bruford. And I don't know what I'm missing there anyway. And on keyboards, I think I went Wakeman over Emerson. But if we're going with one per band, and that's probably what you should do, is one per band. Oh, yeah. Punky's Lips is asking me if I like French prog. Oh, do I ever like French prog? I'm a huge fan of Ange. I'm actually even learning to like Magma a little bit. But I love Shylock, Carpe Diem, big fan of Minimum Vital, big fan of Nemo. I love Jean-Pierre Louveton. I think he's amazing. Grandval, just incredible. Henri Vaugran, excellent stuff. I am so happy. Let's see. What is Robert talking about? Am I a fan of prog metal? You hardly mention any. Excellent observation. as you can tell, Robert, I like prog metal, but I'm not a humongous fan of it. Dream Theater, Haken, the regular suspects, the usual suspects I do like a lot. But I'm just so busy trying to connect all the dots with all the symphonic stuff and all the other crazy stuff that's out there. It's just amazing. How many instruments do you play? How many instruments are there? Because I remember back in college, I was a music major, I was a music theory major, minor in classical guitar performance. And I would just hang out with all the music people. And it was just a game for me to try to, pick up a violin and see if I can figure it out in 5 minutes, pick up a saxophone. So I played them all, man. And I'm terrible at all of them. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, omnipresent. Hey, thank you. I just had somebody unsubscribe yesterday, but they were kind enough to leave a comment. And they said, too many ranking videos, man. I love you, but I got to unsubscribe. To which I said, and that hurts, it hurts my heart a little bit, because I work really, really hard to, to build up the subscriber base, et cetera, et cetera. But, it can't please everybody. I'm a prog musician and a huge fan of your show. I'm a huge fan of you. Would you review my album? How much would you charge for it? Maybe you could get me on your show for an interview or something like that. That's what we'll do. Let's do that. You know me and album reviews. I don't like hurting people's feelings, man. And honestly, if it's not a 4.5 or 5 headphone type of affair, I'm probably not going to review it. But let's get you on the show. That would be awesome. I'm actually talking to Andreas Prestmo from Wobbler and the Chronicles of Father Robin. And it looks really, really good that we will have him on the show, not next week, but the week after next, hopefully. I've never met him. I've been talking to him via email here the last couple weeks. So that'll be fun. But we're going to get Serzi on the show too. Let's see. There was a stretch in the 90s and early 2000s that a lot of prog folks wanted nothing to do with prog metal. Maybe Dream Theater, and then at some point things changed. I think things changed because those prog metal bands started listening to more prog albums. I really do. If you listen to some of those 90s prog metal records, I don't hear a whole lot of prog. But fast forward to 2023, and if there's a album under the prog metal banner, I'm hearing a ton of prog. I really am. So I think that's what's going on there. In my opinion, yes, in their prime, Anderson, Wakeman, Housequire, and White could wipe the floor of anyone. Your thoughts? Well, that earlier incarnation might have some fans with Bruford, but I hear what you're saying. In a live setting, Bruford actually didn't hit him hard enough. And there was another problem with Bill. He never liked to play the same thing 2 nights in a row. So he was a madman. He was actually a bit of a problem to have in a band. But when you have the guy that's that good, the best drummer in the history of mankind, you put up with his shenanigans. But Alan White was actually the man for live settings. If you go back and listen to those live recordings, and they're all over YouTube. Yes, in 1978 and 1979 on that Tormato in the Round tour. Yeah, Tormato was a terrible album, but oh my God, I've never heard a band more on fire than Yes in 1978. That live show was just insane, at the absolute top of their game. Just amazing. Do you have any of the DVDs, Blu-rays of the Yes album to relayer? No, I've got the Steven Wilson box set, the vinyl, and it's pretty great. I really like what Steven Wilson did with those. Bruford was better than White. Now, yeah, Bruford was way better than White in the studio, but live, I make a case that Alan White might have been a better live drummer, particularly for a band like Yes, that they weren't your airy-fairy prog. I mean, Yes was a hard-working, hard-rocking band, and you needed a guy that could just beat the living hell out of the Skins. That was Alan White, man, for sure. Here's a very good question from my Bosnian friend. I have indeed listened to the new Homonoculus Res album. Let's see if I can remember it. Eco Lempirio Dopey Sensi. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, my Italian's awful, but that album is great, man. I don't know if I'm going to do a review of it or not. I don't know how much I really have to say about it, except that I love it. I love them. I like all their albums. And when I do my best of 2023 so far, you can be pretty sure that's going to be pretty high up on the list. Peter Gabriel, the upcoming I.O. Yeah, I will probably do a ranking the Peter Gabriel albums. I was going to do it, earlier this year, and then I heard I.O. was going to drop, so I figured I'd wait for the new one and rank them all together. So far, I'm digging what I'm hearing. I really am. I like it a lot. I'm of the opinion that Peter Gabriel can do no wrong. There are certain singers that I could listen to all day long, and I don't even care what they're singing. Peter Gabriel is definitely first on that list. You can put Nat King Cole on there, David Bowie on there, and I'm going to add a new one, man. Andres Prestmo from Wobbler. I could listen to that cat all day. Absolutely. Peruvian band from the 70s. I don't know who that is. I don't listen to a lot of South American prog, but I will be doing, continuing with my world prog episodes. And yeah, South America is definitely going to be represented. So I'll be listening to a lot more Argentinian and Brazilian prog in particular. But we can't forget about Chile and some of the other countries. Storm Corrosion, yeah. Michael and Steven getting together. I don't think that was the album people were expecting. But it's the one they got, and I actually really like it. I think it's a great album. I love the atmospherics. Dire Straits, Love Over Gold. I love Dire Straits. When I did my best prog live albums last year, I included Alchemy, and I got a whole lot of flack for it. A lot of people were like, that's not prog, that's Dire Straits, man. Jeff, you are so right. R.I.P. Alan. R.I.P. Chris Squire. R.I.P. Peter Banks, too, man. Let's go all the way in. Let's see what all media reviews. Given Alan's history with John Lennon, I wonder if Lennon ever showed up to see Yes live. That's a good question. I have never heard that, whether or not he ever showed up. I know he was a fan of Genesis, or at least according to Steve Hackett, John Lennon was a big fan of Selling England by the Pound. I get the feeling that might be apocryphal, though. Yeah, but the fact that his former drummer was in Yes would only make more sense. He would have been more vocal about him. Yeah, probably so. Oh, no. Circus of Heaven. Yeah, that's one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. When I did awful songs by great bands. Yeah, I think Circus of Heaven was probably the first song that came to mind. It's absolutely terrible. It's just not even worth talking about. Vimana from Brazil. Okay, I don't know. Jeff Shilka's losing the feed. Oh, no. Get back on top of it. Okay, what are my top 10 favorite prog bands? I have not done that episode yet. It's something I've been kind of holding off for a while. But let's see if I can do it off the top of my head, shall we? You guys know who's number one. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of debate about that. So that's Yes. Got to put Genesis at number 2, King Crimson at number 3, maybe ELP at number 4. Maybe I'm going to go with Rush at 5, Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull. I got 3 more to go. Kansas. Maybe Vandergraaf Generator, and then maybe we'll throw in a new one. Maybe we'll throw in Transatlantic, and that's my top 10. I think that was 10. I don't know. These fingers weren't very helpful at all. Not even a little bit. Here's another Brazil suggestion. Somnosa de cada dia. I don't know what that means. My Portuguese is actually not good at all. Shocker. And Cita from Chile. Puman. Yeah, I know Puman. You know why I know Puman? Because you turned me on to him, Goran. That's why. Oh, yeah. Oh, here we go. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Man, that new album is something, huh? What's it called? Something about Petro Dragon or something like that. It's another metal album from them. These guys just Every album is something new. It's something different. They're going microtonal. They're going with some highfalutin, highbrow thing like Changes, where every song has the same chord progression, or they're doing, metal albums. I can't keep track. They put too much material out. But I can't complain because one of my favorite bands is Guided by Voices, and they do the exact same thing, just way too much material. It's hard to keep up, but I try. I do try. I love King Gizzard and the Wizard. One of these days I will do a album ranking, but that's going to take a lot of effort and listening to a lot of stuff there. Yeah, I think Scott knows King Gizzard. Yeah, I know King Gizzard a little bit. I love him. Okay, let's see. David, have you listened to any of the 2022, 2023 remixes? Yes, I have them all. And next week, the final installment comes in, man. Or at least final for me. I know they're probably going to do Banks of Eden and Desolation Rose also, but I already have those, so I don't need the reissues. But yeah, the Sum of No Evil comes out next week. Finally, the final piece of the puzzle. It's like a jigsaw puzzle with one missing piece. That was it. And it really sucked because that's actually my favorite Flower Kings album. So I'm really, really excited about that. Gentle Giant, absolutely love them. Amazing. Styx, yeah. Attila, a lot of people that I talk to that love Styx are like, well, I love Styx up until Babe, right? And I understand that because Babe was terrible, and the album that came out after it was a little bit better. Paradise Theater was good. I liked it a lot. And then they came out with that Kilroy Was Here with Domo Arigato, just terrible. But I'm here to tell you, boys and girls, the last three, particularly the last two Styx albums, have just been absolutely dynamite, man. The Mission from 2017 and Crash of the Crown from 2021, I think. Yeah, whatever. Unbelievable, man. Styx is back. I love them. Yes, will always be number one. Yes, they will. Here we go. Yeah, Plexiglass people, you're right on the money. I need to write that down. I have not done a Renaissance episode yet, and I really need to. Yeah, I knew I forgot something. I forgot Gentle Giant. They would definitely be in my top 10. Yeah, you know it. I'm sorry. I didn't have anything written down, but yeah, Gentle Giant, definitely in my top 10. So maybe we take Transatlantic off. Yeah, Vandergraaf Generator for sure. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. Have you checked out the new Steven Wilson mix of Interview? I have not. I love Interview. Interview is always one of those albums that nobody ever talked about. Everybody kind of forgot about Gentle Giant after Freehand. And I do understand that the last three Gentle Giant albums weren't great, but man, Interview's great. I'm sorry. Interview's great. You're on fire with the live stream. Oh, yeah, that's what I do. That's what, actually, it's not what I do. I haven't done a live stream in forever. It's been probably 6 months since we did a live stream on the channel, but I figured it was time to do another one and just talk to the people, see what the people want. Also recommend you listen to Radio Blah Blah, not Prog, but an Israeli concept album about a man with a split personality, and each personality gets his own genre. Oh, that's cool, man. I want my own genre. Yeah, must get interview. Yeah, we'll be doing some interviews, ranking bands with too many records. That is a problem. And the reason why I have not done my Frank Zappa ranking episode, I am going to do it, but I've decided I'm just going to rank a top 25 because there's just no way I can get through his old discography. Did I get to see ELP in the 70s? I did not see the Reformed UK. I wish I would have. I never saw UK under, any incarnation, the first one, the second one, or any of the, the ones that like Marco Minimum and stuff like that. But I did get to see ELP in 1977, boys and girls. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. It was in Milwaukee. It was the Works Volume 1 tour. They had the 60-piece orchestra. They had the 30-voice choir. And they opened with Piano Concerto number 1, 20 minutes of classical music. And everybody's like, what the heck is going on around here? They didn't play Tarkus. It was a weird show, but man, was it good. I'll never forget that show. Changed my life. Absolutely. What's my take on Alloy? I think they're absolutely amazing. Yeah, Ocean's one of my favorite albums of all time. But I really do like all their records. I guess they got a new one that's either out or coming out. I haven't heard it yet. Bucket Artists. Well, yeah, the ones on my bucket list are probably all either dead or disbanded. But as far as current bands going right now, I've never seen the Flower Kings, and I really want to see Black Midi. Bad. I love Black Midi. I think Black Midi is just amazing. Oh, yeah. Get the Osmonds back together. I don't know if you're being 100% serious here or if there was some satire involved, but I got to say, I'm a huge fan of the Osmonds, man. I should have done an Osmond backdrop. I've got like their first 5 or 6 albums. Crazy Horses, of course, their best album. Phase 3 is really good. Homegrown's good. Donny Osmond has more talent in his little pinky than I've got in my whole body. He's absolutely amazing. He's a genius. He absolutely is. Babe, I love you. Howe versus Raven. Well, back in the day, I would have said Howe without a doubt, no question. Don't even, waste my time with a question that silly. But you know what? Having seen Trevor and Steve over the last couple years, right now as it stands, Trevor Rabin's a much better guitar player than Steve Howe. Steve he's lost a lot of the dexterity in his left hand. He's lost a lot of the speed that he once had, and his timing is just bizarre sometimes. He's like behind the beat a lot of times when he's playing his parts. I'm wondering if Dude Man has a hearing problem as well as maybe some arthritis. That said, Steve Howe is still my all-time favorite. All-time favorite guitarist of all time. That's what that means. Are there any live albums with performances you prefer over studio? It's rare. I'm not a huge live album guy, but there are absolutely some examples of the live versions being better than the studio version. The first one that maybe comes to mind to me is Yours Is No Disgrace off of Yes Songs. Maybe Supper's Ready off of Seconds Out. Have I visited Europe? I have one time, and I've been to one country in Europe, and that is it. I spent a week in Spain. I was visiting North Africa, so I went to Morocco and Algeria, and then we decided from Tangier we'd get on that little ferry boat across the way to Gibraltar and Algeciras and whatever that's called, that town there. And then we went to Sevilla, and we went to Toledo, and we went to Madrid. Didn't get to Barcelona, but beautiful country. I loved it. People were really mean, but the country's beautiful. Colette, what are your thoughts on German rock from the 70s? I love Amon Duel 2 and Fast and Tangerine Dream. I think you meant Faust, but that's all right. I am really starting to become a huge fan of Amon Duel 2, so I'm with you on that. Yeti, just incredible. But I was a little late to the krautrock game. I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of bands that I still need to check out in the krautrock scene. Yeah, a re-release of that album would be outstanding in a glass house. What do you think about the new GBV song, Meet the Star is fantastic, man. I'm with you 100%. I buy all the Guided by Voices albums, and some of them hit me harder than others. I get the feeling that this one's going to be special because, Meet the Star is absolutely incredible. Okay, I'll check my email. Thank you, sir. Live stream is fantastic. It's good to talk about Prog. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm doing it today. I had a little bit of time on my hands. I had a minute before I had to get back to the salt mines. You know how that goes. Let's see. Flyer says, what do I, Peter versus Peter, PH versus PG. I love them both. Absolutely love them both for different reasons. But Genesis being one of my favorite bands of all time. If it weren't for a band called Yes, they would be my favorite band of all time. So, Peter Gabriel would get the nod there. Hey, Robert Y has got the question of the day. Is Devin Townsend prog? I think the answer is sometimes. Sometimes he is. Sometimes he's not. I like him though. Oh, ELP and PFM. Oh man, what a show that must have been. Oh my God. I saw a documentary that Patrick Moraz almost did going. Yeah, he was in the band. Apparently, he helped write Awaken. There are some demos of him jamming to Awaken. There is some thought that that main riff, maybe even he wrote. So when Rick Wakeman was invited back in the band as a session player for Going for the One, it was just yet another example of Yes treating people badly. They're real famous for that. To wit, Peter Banks, man, the guy that formed the band and came up with a name and created a sound that Steve Howe would emulate. When Yes was doing their reunion tour, back in the early 90s, they came to LA where Peter Banks was living, and he was told, hey, come on, we'll get you on stage. You can play on one song. And he gets to the stage door and you're not welcome here. Apparently Steve Howe didn't want nothing to do with Peter Banks being on stage with him at the same time. That is a shame. Just a whole lot of bad decisions from the Yes camp over the years. Styx played at my brother's prom. Oh, that's awesome, man. Cheap Trick used to play at my local bowling alley, Sunset Bowl in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I saw Yes with Donovan. Yeah. I think John Martin opened for him the first time I saw him. I can't remember. Wakeman came into the picture and PM. He sure did. That's just how it goes, man. I mean, you got Wakeman. If Wakeman wants to be in your band, you probably got to have Wakeman in your band. Do you talk to your, this is the $1 million question right here, right? I mean, this is the one that people probably get on me about the most is the affected voice that I use whilst shooting my YouTube videos. And let me just tell you something, boys and girls. This is my regular voice. No, that's not my regular voice. I don't talk like that, man. This is how I talk. It's how I always talk. I'm a salesman. That's what I do. I go from business to business, and I sell ads for a advertising newspaper in Ohio. So my mouth, my voice, that's the absolute, that's my moneymaker right there. What was the first prog group you saw live? Well, it's probably Yes in 76. I think the concerts that I had gone to before then, let's see, my first show was 1970. It was Sly and the Family Stone. Then I saw Ike and Tina Turner. I seen Chicago real early on, Blood, Sweat, and Tears real early on. Yeah, but I think the Yes show in 76 was my actual first prog show that I ever saw. Can I recommend a hidden gem from 2017? It's called Uber Bored by Squintaloo. Yeah, man, I know those guys. Yeah, Squintaloo's awesome. Good call. Good call. Out of the classic heavy metal bands, which do you consider the most proggy? I think a lot of those classic metal bands have a bunch of prog in them, man. Sad Wings of Destiny from Judas Priest, that's got prog written all over it. Just look at that album cover, man. But to me, I'm an Iron Maiden guy. I'll always be an Iron Maiden guy. I find them to be extremely proggy. I know both Bruce Dickinson and Steve Harris are huge prog fans. Steve Harris is a big fan of Genesis, Jethro Tull, and Nectar, stuff like that. So, yeah, they're probably, Donny Osmond, he was a little bit rock and roll. That's right. Have you checked out Aurora Clara? Yeah, I have heard one album from them. I can't remember what it was called. Transformer. I don't know. It's been a while, but I heard maybe they have another record coming out. Anecdote Live in Norway is brilliant. Yes. I think you, there. I think you did. That's what I thought. You meant Angligard. Of course you did. Oh, Bert. Yeah, Bert. I have. You turned me on to this thing, man. You turned me on to this album. It's they're from Belarus, right? Check this out, guys. There's the comment. They're from Belarus. And these guys sold like millions and millions and millions of copies back in the Soviet Union era. They would play concerts in Minsk and 100,000 people would show up. Just incredible. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I had never even heard of them before. I need to get that on vinyl because I absolutely adore that record. It's so cool, man. Where do you get all the obscure Italian prog releases? Well, you know, I'm going to be honest, and I've got probably 100, maybe 120 pieces of Italian prog on vinyl, and every single one of them is a reissue except one. I do have a first pressing of Per un Amico by PFM. Everything else has been reissued. There's been a lot of reissue programs for the classic prog, and usually the quality's just fine. You know, I rock a Crosley, so, you know, sound quality is not usually first and foremost on my mind when I'm buying vinyl, to be quite honest. Yeah, I'd love to hear like a finished version of Awaken with the great Patrick Moraz. Yeah, what about the new Avenged Sevenfold? Well, everybody's been talking about it. I see Notes Reviews was talking about it over on their channel. Everybody's talking about it. So I had to check it out. And it's not bad. I've never had a problem with Avenged Sevenfold. I think they're a good band. I think they have some proggy moments to them. They're fine. Yeah, I'll listen to the new album a little bit more. I don't think I'll do an album review of it. Which prog artist would make the best roommate? Well, it's not... I'll tell you the ones that would not be good roommates, right? I mean, that's probably a little bit easier. First and foremost, you don't want John Anderson being your roommate. He'll run away with all your money. Walkie Show. My wife and I stayed there twice seeing Mickey Dolenz. Thumbs up. Great Best Western there. Yeah, I think my sister used to work there back in the day. I moved from Wisconsin in 1977. So your voice and charisma. There you go. Yeah. That's me. That's what I do. I'm Mr. Charisma, man. Yeah. Palmer or Bruford, and why? Well, I love Carl Palmer. I think when I did my top prog drummers, I'm pretty sure I had him at number 5. But I had Bill Bruford at number 1. You know, I just love the jazzy feel, the light touch of Bruford. To me, it just adds a whole different element, another layer to Yes Music. Carl Palmer is just a machine, man. I mean, I love Palmer. I don't think Bill Bruford would have been right in ELP. Nor do I think Carl Palmer would have worked in Yes. He worked just fine in Asia, though. Back to YouTube, back to this channel. Oh, yeah. Senator from the Prairie. Where you been, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. Long time. Glad to have you back, Senator. Stephen Hicks, Scott in the Prog Corner. I'm the man. Yeah, my go-to for all things prog. Yeah, look at those guns, buddy. Oh, I'm working out left and right, man. Okay. Jennifer's in the house. At the vets with my cat, Harry. What's the name of your dog? I got 2 dogs. I got a big old lab mix. Her name's Roxy. And then I got a little, I don't even know what he is. He's like a cross between a Chihuahua and a Jack Russell Terrier, I guess. His name's Oliver. So Roxy and Oliver are my babies. And yeah, when Mother's Day comes along, I know Father's Day is right around the corner, and I start getting depressed already right around Mother's Day, because when Father's Day hits, it really does hit me that I've wasted my life. You know, I have no offspring. There is no one that's going to be carrying on, you know, my lineage, and that just definitely bums me out. That wasn't the plan. I never planned on, you know, being childless, but, you know, life got in the way and it happened. But it's not too late. I am 60 and my wife is 21 years younger than me, so anything's possible. The Secret Chiefs 3. Yeah, they're side projects I have not delved into, but I love the Secret Chiefs 3. Good stuff. Amazing. Yeah, a Fish albums ranking. Yeah, that's going to happen. I did my Marillion ranking, and I kind of thought I was going to do my Fish ranking shortly thereafter, but then I got sidetracked or I got lazy. What's your favorite prog-related autobiography? John Wetton's An Extraordinary Life dropped through the letterbox. That's a good one. Well, I'll show you what I'm reading right now. Let me show you what I'm reading right now. I don't read a whole lot, but I am reading this. Complicated Game. Inside the Songs of XTC by Andy Partridge and Todd Bernhardt. Todd had a MySpace page that I followed way back in the day where he would break down XTC songs, and he'd get Andy Partridge on there and, he'd clap back about it. I love XTC. Just amazing. Fripp or Howe? Well, when I did my guitar rankings, I think I actually had Howe at number 3 and Fripp at number 4. I think I went Hackett number 1, Zappa number 2, Howe number 3, Fripp number 4. But I mean, technically speaking, it's really hard to put anybody ahead of Robert Fripp. Bruford's work with Yes versus Bruford's work in King Crimson. Well, I think he was perfect for early Yes, and he was absolutely perfect for that John Wetton era King Crimson. Which do I prefer? Maybe King Crimson. And maybe he was just better suited for King Crimson with the way his mind worked. And he always wanted to be doing improv stuff, which really wasn't part of the Yes recipe, right? What do you think of Emerson, Lake, and Powell? It was the first ELP album you ever heard. Oh, that's crazy, man. That's wild. When that album first came out, I absolutely hated it. I thought it was terrible. I was so excited because Cozy Powell, man. If you need to replace Carl Palmer, you could do a whole lot worse. Plus, the guy had the right initials, right? It's still ELP. But over the years, I've definitely learned to appreciate it more. I think it's actually really, really good. Really good record. Fripp is on a whole different plane, man. I don't know if you watch him and his wife Toya playing all those classic rock songs on Sundays. It's a lot of fun. What concerts are coming up? Yeah, there's a couple things coming up that I'm hoping I can get to, not least of which is I am trying to see if I can get over and seeing Carl Palmer. Let's see here. I don't get out much, man. I work and I go home. I haven't been to a show in forever. I really need to. It's been over a year since I've been to a show. Complicated Game is a fantastic read. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Are there famous Prog songs in well-known movies? Touch and Go was in MacGruber. Well, Hocus Pocus by Focus was in Baby Driver. What was that Nicolas Cage movie that just came out? Mandy. That's got King Crimson in it. Buffalo 66 with Christina Ricci's got some Yes in it. There's a bunch, but not nearly enough. There should be more. Yeah, Fish Rankings album. I was actually going to ask you about him as a roadie for Yes. The Marillion biography, I don't recall mentioning it all. By the way, my Marillion songs ranking should be coming up. So I'll be watching that when that comes out. That's for sure. I love your channel. I love what you do. Top 5 live prog albums. Well, when I did my live albums ranking last year, I had Gentle Giant Playing a Fool at number 1. I had Yes songs at number 2. Pretty sure Genesis Live from 1973 was in there. The Usual Suspects. All the usual stuff. Yeah, Almost Famous had Yes and Tall. In fact, the soundtrack album does have I've Seen All Good People on it, which is very cool. Buffalo 66. Yeah, it's got a Heart of the Sunrise on it. It's got a Moonchild on it. Just such a great movie. I love that movie. Where's Vincent Gallo been, by the way? After that movie, he just kind of like disappeared. I was seeing him on the internet wearing Yes shirts left and right, and then he just disappeared. Greetings from Sweden. Yes. I do love Sweden. One of these days I need to get up there. I'm 25% Swedish. I'm actually 25% English. 25% Irish, 25% Norwegian, and 25% Swedish or thereabouts. So it turns out that my brother's really into genealogy and that ancestry stuff. And he found out that we don't have one descendant from the Mayflower. We don't have two. We've got 3 descendants from the Mayflower, man. How cool is that? I didn't know how blue blood I really was, but I'm a blue blood, apparently. How would I rank the King Crimson vocalists? Well, Jocko would be in last place. Adrian, probably in the inverse order almost of that they showed up, but you got to put Greg Lake at number 1, followed very, very closely by John Wetton at number 2. Boz probably at number 3. Gordon number 4. Adrian number 5. And Jocko number 6. But that's just me. I love them all. St. Just, good call, man. I love St. Just. Awesome stuff. Did David Cross work on other albums after Crimson? Yeah, he's worked on a bunch of stuff. He's put out lots of stuff. I was on his Discogs page, and he's contributed to a whole bunch of stuff. Not least of which, I think he did a record with Peter Banks, didn't he? I don't know. You guys got to help me out with that. How about Pictures at an Exhibition? Yeah, that's one of the greatest live albums of all time because it's new material. And that was the material that these guys have been playing from the day they were formed as a band. Their first gig at the, Plymouth Guildhall. They played Pictures at an Exhibition. Their second gig at the Isle of Wight Festival, they played Pictures at an Exhibition. So, yeah, that's just an amazing piece. Cheap Trick, yeah. Heavy Metal. I remember going to see that movie in 81 when it first came out with Blue Oyster Cult and Sammy Hagar and all that stuff. It was awesome. Jennifer's taken off. Thank you, Jennifer. We're only going to be going another 10 minutes or so here. Attila. What is that, a movie or is that Billy Joel's first band? It is Billy Joel's first band, by the way, in case you didn't know. Billy Joel wasn't a prog band before he became the Piano Man. Big fan of Yes. So I'm a big fan of Billy Joel, and I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, what else do I got here? Well, I just got in the new, it's new to me because I'm in the States, but just got the new issue of Prog magazine. Mike Oldfield's on the cover, so I'm excited about that. And I still got some reading to catch up to. I got both of these gifted to me, and I've only just started reading them. So I got, my work cut out for me, not least of which is getting my Chronicles of Father Robin rating ready to go. Yeah, Heavy Metal, own it on VHS. Yeah, you need a DVD copy of it. Yeah, the top prog albums from 2023. I think that's going to be Tuesday. It might be Wednesday. It's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to try to do the Chronicles of Father Robin Monday because Andres Prestmo contacted me and he's like, you going to be putting that review out anytime soon? Because it drops Friday. I'm like, oh, man, dude, I thought it was next Friday. So I kind of screwed the pooch there. I hope he's not too upset at me. He probably is, but whatever. Thank you for the show. All right, Goran, be good, man, and keep giving me your recommendations over there on the Instagram. Love you, man. You're awesome. Mike Oldfield, absolutely incredible. Love you, dude. We are from the same era for me, Genesis and Rush, and now Steven Wilson. I can't argue with that. 3 genius musical acts right there. Yeah, Genesis and Rush definitely make my top 10. Genesis probably my second favorite band of all time. As far as like modern artists go, Wobbler, Big Train, Neil Morris, and Steven Wilson. That's where I'm at, man. Heavy Metal is one of the hottest movies I've ever seen. I love that movie. That was great. Tubular Bells. Yeah. Well, that was the whole reason why that album became so big was The Exorcist. And, Richard Branson started this label called Virgin. And his first 2 albums were some album by some band called Gong, and another album by this 19-year-old kid nobody had ever heard of before called Mike Oldfield. It's just incredible. What he was able to accomplish at 19 years old. That record sold millions and millions and millions of copies, and it gave Richard Branson the breathing space he needed. He was now in the black ink with Virgin, and that propelled him to do all the stuff that he did later. Without Mike Oldfield, there would have been no Virgin Records. Without Mike Oldfield, you would have never even heard of Richard Branson, and that's a fact, and that's pretty cool. Fred Frith. Yeah, I love Fred Frith. We just talked about him with Henry Cow the other day when we were talking about great instrumental albums. That fourth Henry Cow album, just so good. Fred Frith, awesome, love him. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to be taking off here, my good friends. I figured I could get on here for an hour and bug you guys and just see who would show up. There was no announcement. I just thought, hey, I got an hour to kill. Maybe I'll do a live stream. So I appreciate everybody that showed up. Just amazing. You guys are the absolute best. Green Dawn and Born and Ghost of the Machine. What's Green Dawn? I don't know Green Dawn. I don't know them, Andrew. But yeah, Born, absolutely amazing. Ghost of the Machine. I love Charlie. He's one of my bros, the singer for that band. He watches the channel. So yeah, I love Ghost of the Machine. What was the name of that album? Scissor Games. So good. I loved it. What band or album that many people love that you just can't see why? For years and years and years, that answer would have been Dark Side of the Moon. I never got it, man. I love Wish You Were Here. I love metal. I love Animals. For years and years, I just didn't get what the big deal was about Dark Side of the Moon. And then I bought some good headphones. And yeah, the rest, as they say, is history. Yeah, same with me and all of Floyd. I've definitely come around on most of Floyd's discography, but I still have a problem with The Wall. I really do. It's not my favorite, but hey, I'm not going anywhere, Steven. I'm right here. You guys can't get rid of me. Yeah, there's nothing anybody can do. I'm here to stay, and because prog rock needs just needs some champions, man. Every time I'm on YouTube and I'm watching some dude talking about prog rock, yeah, it's always like this. I like prog rock, and I'm listening to some prog rock. What in the world, man? Nobody wants to hear that. Come on. How many videos I've clicked onto and then clicked off of like 15 seconds later. Not even funny. Yeah, The Wall's bloated. Not a fan. Never listened to The Wall in full. And I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. There you go. Dub Side of the Moon, the Easy Star All-Stars. The Wall is horribly depressing. Indeed it is. Jeff's got both those magazines. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? And prog rock absolutely needs a champion, man. That's why people like Andy Edwards. Awesome, man. We need people like that to be banging the drum about this music. And if it's so great, why are you all sleepy when you're talking about it, right? If this music is so great, how come I'm falling asleep while you're describing it? Obviously, you don't believe a word you're saying if that's the way you're delivering it, man. I'm sorry. I get excited when I talk about prog rock. I do. Forget about it. It's the best music in the world. Do I like Rush? Do I like Rush? Oh, yeah, I like Rush, man. I was born in 1962, man. Of course I like Rush. But my favorite Rush album will always be A Farewell to Kings. I came to Rush at 2112. A little friend of mine in school loaned me that and the first live album. He never got 2112 back. I gave him the live album back, but that 2112 album stayed with me. So when A Farewell to Kings came out the next year, man, was I excited. And it did not disappoint, my friends. Wow. unbelievable. I love Rush. Yeah, I love the Mail Brothers, man. I am a huge fan. Come on to my house, Propaganda. A couple of years ago, they dropped an album called Steady Drip, Drip, Drip. That was one of my favorite albums of the year. I think that was 2020. Love your show. I'm as real as it gets. Getting some old Prog and turntable. Yeah, man, I got a cheap Crosley and I love it. Don't spend a ton of money on a system. That's money you could be spending on vinyl. Talk is a great album. They went Prog after the disaster of Union. Union was a disaster, man. It was absolutely terrible. I hated it. Hey, boys and girls, the great Scott Medina's in the house. Woo! Now that's exciting. You know who he is. We did the Yes rankings together. We did the Spock's Beard rankings together. He's one of the most knowledgeable guys I know. Just a great guy, too. How about Riverside? Yes, that's what I say to Riverside. Absolutely yes. And the Lunatic Soul stuff and the Marius Duda solo stuff. I'm here for all of it, man. I love it. I think Marius is an absolute genius. I love Riverside, and their latest album will be pretty high up in my 2023 rankings. Like, you think house snobs would like it, but no, they'll refuse it because it has Rabin on it. Yeah, the house snobs hated Trevor Rabin. Hey, I hated Trevor Rabin for a long, long time. I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Post-part concert depression. Yeah, I believe that. I heard the concert was really good. Larry Graves, the Canadian stud muffin. Check out his channel if you've never watched him. He's a huge fan. David Sanchez, what a genius he is. Just so good. Yeah, the Union was an amazing idea, and the tour was fantastic. I seen that tour, and I was blown away, man. I seen it. Where did I see it? I think Hollywood Sportatorium, I think is where that was. Yeah, Talks a Diamond in the Rough. It's a good record. Spock's Beard is a very piratey band name. It is. It's a great band name, isn't it? I love that band name. P.S. My daily feels of being sorry for the Tarkus after the Manticore attack. Yeah, I always felt bad for Tarkus, man. He had to, run back into the sea with his tail between his legs. He's all injured and whatnot. I felt bad for him. I did. Lunatic Soul, good stuff, man. So talented, that guy. Rabin's orchestral hits. I hope everyone sees the light when it comes to Rabin. I hope they do too. Trevor Rabin's amazing. He's a great guitar player. ARW put on a fantastic show. I seen him twice, once in Dayton, once in Columbus. Just absolutely amazing. No, they were both in Dayton. Yeah, just two different venues. And just incredible. Yeah, so anybody that wants to talk smack about Trevor Rabin, they got to go through me first. And I'm a Steve Howe guy, so yeah, man. Anyway, I think that should just about do it, y'all. I really appreciate everybody coming by. Like I said, next week, Monday, The Chronicles of Father Robin, one of the greatest things you are ever going to hear. It's a triple album, man. It's a box set for a debut. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. It's the most prog rock thing ever. And then either Tuesday or Wednesday, we will be doing the best of 2023 so far. And it's great. It's going to be, like I said, there are so many good albums this year that last year at this time, I only ranked 20 because I didn't think there were enough really, really good albums. There were a lot of great albums, but not a lot of, in that 4 to 4.5 star category. This year is the complete opposite. We've had a real dirge of 5-star releases, but we have just got a plethora of 4 and 4.5s. So I will be doing a top 25, and it's going to be amazing. And let's see what Sammy has to say before we go. I like the fact that people are Davison skeptics. I mean, if they hated Rabin, they think they'd enjoy Howe, but no, they call it the House Show. Yeah, they do. They're just very unforgiving. These are John Anderson fans, and I get it. You can't replace the great John Anderson. You just hire somebody else and roll the dice and hope for the best. Yeah, Ed Zero, I got bad news for you, my friend. I'll stay on for a little while longer, even though Mark said goodbye. I'll stay on for a minute longer. Just because Ed wants me to stay on a minute longer. We'll find something else to talk about. I don't have to go right now. I got a couple minutes I can kill. I think I brought my dogs inside, so they're chilling. Yeah, I got one dog here. I don't know where the other dog went, but yeah. So for those of you that didn't see, Jim Newstead has this in his background, and Alume Eltonen, the great Pam, sent this to me. These are the actual lyrics to Awaken. Apparently, this was taken from the Going for the One tour program. Apparently, this was a piece of art by John Anderson. I guess he did this one after he wrote the lyrics. So that's really cool. I take gifts, man. If you want to send me stuff, I take it. Yeah, the material on Union is amazing, but Anderson messed it up. Yeah, there were a lot of real bad decisions all the way through on that record, not least of which is Code 86 and everything that Wakeman and Howe recorded and going with session people. I don't even care if it's second rate. It's Steve Howe and Rick Wakeman. You put them on the record. Couldn't be here for that long, but I'll try to be at the next full live stream. Love your channel. I love you, Undefined Jelly Bean. And yeah, don't hold your breath for the next live stream. Will there be a Flower Kings album ranking show coming up? The band doesn't get enough credit. I will do a new ranking for the Flower Kings once their new album comes out. I believe it's in September. I'm pretty excited about it. Everybody knows Michael Stoltz back in the band. Jonas Reingold's way too busy with Steve Hackett. But what's weird is Zach Kamens appears not to be in the band anymore. Apparently, Lale Larson is performing on the new album. But as per usual with Roy Nastalt, it would appear that 90% of the keyboards you're going to hear on the new Flower Kings album will be Roy Nastalt playing keyboards. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good, Ed Zero. You the man. Yeah, that Union tour was absolutely incredible. How many albums do the Flower Kings have? Yeah, 15, I believe, is the correct answer. But if you include the first one, the Flower King, it's a Flower Kings album. It's got the same personnel on it. It just says Roy Nastalt on the front. And then what was that called? The Manifesto of an Alchemist by Roy Nastalt's The Flower King. Is that a Flower Kings record? So maybe they got 17. Car Mechanic. Oh, no, Manuel, really? That's great news. I love Car Mechanic. I think Dot was an absolute masterpiece, but I like all their albums, so that's great news. I'll see Jonas this Sunday with Hackett. Yeah, you will. He's amazing. Yeah, ARW did do an album. They just didn't have John Anderson or Trevor Rabin on it. It was called The Red Planet, Jeff. You know that. You know that. You know that's what The Red Planet was. All those songs, all that material that Wakeman had on The Red Planet, that was all slated for a possible ARW album. Can you imagine the material Wakeman had in his hard drive for that album? And then you maybe add a little bit of John Anderson and Trevor Rabin. How good could that album have been? I mean, really, seriously. As it stands, The Red Planet might be my second favorite Rick Wakeman album ever. Just sickening to think. The Prog Corner gives Prog a good name. That's what we do, man. Yeah. Sammy, you know there's only one thing I'm good at in this whole entire world, and it's running my mouth, and getting me to shut up is about the hardest thing in the world. Yeah, me and Donald Trump have a few things in common there. Tales from Topographic Oceans, number 1. Yes. And Close to the Edge, number 2. Yes. You got Relayer at 3. I got Fragile at 3, but that's all right. Relayer's good, man. It's all right. Ooh, the Aristocrats. Oh, Marco Minimum. So good. That's a 3-piece band that can go up with the best of them. I've never seen them. I know they played Columbus a couple years ago, and I heard about it the next day. I was so upset. I have Fragile up there. Yeah, I love Fragile. And Undefined Jelly Beans got Fragile at number 1. I will give Fragile a couple of distinctions. It was the first Yes album that I heard. It's the reason I fell in love with the band. You know, I've got the the thing, my little poster up there. But Fragile to me might be the best sounding album I've ever heard. I love the production on it. It's flawless. Eddie Offord, peak Offord right there, man. Just peak, just incredible. Oh, what's all media saying? There was a radio show in my hometown titled Cosme Slop that featured mostly forgotten pop from the 70s. They had a segment and they called it the Prog Corner. Well, how do you like them apples, man? I knew this name was not 100% original because when my editor at the Fire Note came up with the idea of starting a YouTube channel so that I could, talk about my prog rock and not pollute his precious website with all my prog content, because that's more, like an indie kind of webzine, that type of thing. And I was just, submitting all this prog stuff. So they gave me my own little subsection on the Fire Note. And he suggested, hey, why don't you just post stuff on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. In fact, I got a name ready for you and everything is the Prog Corner. I'm like, give me a day or two. Let me think about it. And so I started researching, going around, seeing if anybody had used the name The Prog Corner. The only thing I could find was on Facebook. There was a couple of French dudes like 10, 15 years ago had a page called Prog Corner, but they hadn't posted anything in like 10 years. So I'm like, well, I'm putting a the in front of it and I'm taking your name, my friend. That's it. Sammy still has trouble with tails. I don't know why that would be. Billy Sherwood is a hero, man. I mean, he really is. Talk about an unforgiving position that he found himself in. Tails is slowly growing on me. That's the whole idea, man. It took me like 5 years to get into it. Yeah, Steve Howe's guitar work on Tails. I mean, obviously Tails is primarily a John Anderson, Steve Howe thing. There's precious little contribution from Alan. He had just joined the band. Rick was, too busy eating chicken vindaloo and playing darts and drinking beer with the Black Sabbath. And I'm not sure Squire loved Tails, to be honest with you. So it is clearly a Steve Howe, John Anderson affair. Hey, look who's here. Ho, ho, yee-hee. Hey, Scott, who are the most underrated prog band from the UK, in your opinion? There's a whole bunch of them, man. It's such a deep well, especially you go back into the 70s and you just look at all those prog bands that never really got, that one big break or that one hit song. There's a whole bunch, but I'm going to go with perhaps, maybe today I'm going to go with Beggar's Opera. Yeah, maybe Beggar's Opera is my pick today. But, tomorrow it'd be something else. Could be Cressida. Attila is telling Sammy to listen to Elias of Sunhillow. And if Elias of Sunhillow was a Yes album, it'd probably be my third favorite Yes album. It's that good. I just love it. Just amazing. Yeah. You are right, Zamran. Apparently there is movement on the Zamran front. John keeps talking about it. So hopefully, we'll get something there. Palace is a good call. Talking about underrated bands from the UK. There's so many, man. You start digging deep into Prog archives and you start looking at all these bands and stuff. And I think I know a lot about Prog. And then I'm going on there and there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of bands I never heard of before. It just definitely makes me, it makes me realize that I still have a whole bunch to learn. And that's what this is all about. I don't come on here pretending to know everything. I know I don't know everything. My friend Goran from Bosnia knows way more than I do. Most of these people that have competing YouTube channels, they know more than I do. I just got a bigger mouth. That's all that is. Jose Manuel Guerra. Yeah, I've listened to him. He's amazing. Yeah, IQ. Absolutely. I just did my IQ rankings. Love that band so much. I have tried Elias. It's better than Tails. I don't think so, but I love them both. I love John Anderson so much. I could listen to anything. He's in that group. I mentioned Peter Gabriel. I could listen to him sing anything. It doesn't matter. David Bowie was the same way. Nat King Cole was the same way for me. Oh my God, that voice, just forget about it. Win Butler from Arcade Fire. I love that guy's voice. I don't care what he's singing. It's just incredible. And Andre Prestmo from Wobbler gets in that list. I'm such a fan these days. Listen to a bit of Misplaced Childhood, and it reminded me of the Lamb. Yeah, Marillion might remind you of Genesis from time to time. Yeah, there is that. Yeah, I can't really listen to a double album in one sitting. Yeah, I do it. I can only listen to Tales in one sitting. I have never, partition them off and listen to one track at a time. Whenever I delve into Tales, it's going to be an 80-minute thing, and I'm going to listen to all of it from start to finish. And so that's a once a month thing. I can't do that all the time. You know how that goes. Fish Out of Water, best Yes solo. We're going to find out in a couple weeks, because I will be doing a ranking the Yes solo albums episode. That's happening soon. That'll be fun. Hey, I'm going to a record store later. Should I get Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Foxtrot, Quadrophenia, Tarkus, or maybe something like Yesterday's? Well, if those are the choices, Foxtrot is the absolute correct answer. However, Quadrophenia, man, if you find a good copy of Quadrophenia with the poster and everything, if you can find that for under, $10, $12, that's the one I'd get, because that Tarkus, you can't go wrong with Tarkus either, man. It's just amazing. I know a lot of people have a problem with side 2 of Tarkus. They're wrong, man. Yeah, side 1 is perfect. Obviously, side 1 of Tarkus, it doesn't get any better than that. But man, side 2 is almost as good. Movies and stuff, you are a very wise man. Very wise man. A friend crocheted me a mini Tarkus. Yeah. Give us your hottest prog take. Oh, boy. My hottest prog take is that Norway is the greatest country on earth for prog music in 2023. Nobody's coming close right now. It's just incredible. You've got the UK, the US, Italy, all these, powerhouses of prog, and little old Norway's kicking everybody's butt. So yeah, that's my hot take today. Misplaced Childhood was 38 years old last Saturday. You bought it on the day it came out. I got you beat. I got a promo of it like 2 weeks before it came out. I was working at the record store, so I was enjoying it 2 weeks before you. How about that, Ian? Tarkus gives you the added bonus of the badass art. Oh, yeah. I mean, that armadillo. Come on, man. Awesome. Movies and stuff. I love you, man. There's a secondhand record store in my city. I get all my prog stuff. Yeah, that's the way to go. That's when I started my 3rd vinyl collection. Yes, I am on my 3rd vinyl collection. I lost my first one in 77 when we moved onto the boat. No room for vinyl on a sailboat, man. And then I had like about 16,000 pieces that I got locked up, and I lost all of that. So now I am on my 3rd collection, and the way to go about it is your first 200 or 300 records, man. Just get them used. You can find really good copies of most of that classic prog stuff, especially Big Six stuff. Yes, Genesis, ELP, etc. You can find most of that stuff for cheap. Well, look who's in the house. It's the great Michael Nolan in the house. Yes, my friend, Michael Nolan. I'm sure everybody here knows exactly who he is, and it has been watching his channel religiously, as you should be, because he is incredible. And I had somebody mention in the comments the other day that me and Mike were like twins or something. He's like, man, one of you guys is stealing the other one's shtick. And I'm like, well, if anybody's stealing anybody's shtick, that would be me stealing it from Michael, because I'm a newbie, man. I've only been doing this for like 17 months. So obviously I was influenced by all the channels that I was watching prior to, getting the Prog Corner started. There's probably a little bit of Pete Pardo in what I do. There's definitely a little bit of Notes reviews in what I do. Even Nathan on Shuffle, there's a little bit of Nathan on shuffle in my antics here, in the quieter moments, I guess. Any love for Hawkwind, Hall of the Mountain Grill. There you go. That's my love for Hawkwind. I love them. They got a new album that just dropped. I have not heard it, but their last 3 or 4 albums have been shockingly good. Ooh, Circus. Yeah, that's a good band. I hadn't thought about them in a while. Yes, Christopher, we just can't seem to hit the end broadcast button. I heard them play side 1 at Hammersmith. Yeah, man. You Brits, man, just getting me all upset and stuff. Only thing you need to do is play the records before buying them. I bought Kimono in my house and later found out that the needle got, that does happen with, with the old vinyl. Sometimes you get a bad copy, but I listen to streaming a whole bunch. So best album of 2023 so far. Well, I'm going to give you 2 candidates, Christopher, which I showed at the beginning of this. First one is my highest rated album so far this year. Seven Impale Summit, their 3rd album, Great Norwegian Prog, and the Lars Fredrik Frosley solo album, Fire for Tellinger, his debut solo album. But there is one that is going to eclipse those 2, but you're going to have to wait till next week to find out the answer. And for those of you who've been watching the stream from the beginning, you know what the answer to that is already. Oh God, I agree. Scott and I do tend to get a bit excited about what we talk about. Scott rocks and copies no one but himself. Yeah, I don't copy anybody, but yeah, I do, best practice research where I'm looking around and seeing who's doing what. Just little stuff. Are you looking at the camera? How fast are you talking? That kind of stuff. I take notes. I take notes on everybody because I don't think I'm better than anybody, In fact, I know that there are people like Michael Nolan out there that are so much better at what they, at what they do than what I do. So I don't compare myself anymore. I used to, but now I just steal ideas. I use streaming a lot, but I like to have my favorites on vinyl too. Yeah, RPWL Crime Scene. That's a good record, man. I've always liked them and I've never loved them. This album didn't change that equation for me, but really, really good. Oh, I'm sorry. I went too fast. Here we go. It's Lars Fredrik Frosley, the keyboard player from Wobbler, his debut solo album, Fire for Tellinger. Oh, it's a good one, man. It's a good one. I'm really happy with it. I love Wobbler. Got a near mint copy of Relayer for $10. Yeah. Haken, not in contention for you. Haken is most certainly in contention. I love Fauna. Affinity, Virus, and Vector left me ice cold, man. Just a little bit too ginty for me. I like prog rock and something about having, Pete Jones, back in the fold almost made them kind of go back and recalibrate what they were doing. Fauna sounds a lot proggier to me than their last 3 albums. And as a result, it's going to be a factor in my year-end list. Absolutely. Yeah, vinyl's always the best. And it's not just aesthetics of, having the 12 by 12 art. That's obviously much better than a tiny little CD or no artwork at all on a download. But there is nothing that compares to a good quality vinyl. Like you said, a good stylus, good amp, good speakers. And there's nothing like it. Is there a classic prog band you do not like? No, there is not. That's the thing about me and prog rock. I love prog rock, man. I guess if there's I don't have like a band, but maybe there's a subgenre, and you guys know what it is. You guys know, you've been watching me long enough. You know that I'm not the biggest fan of the prog metal, even though I do love me some Dream Theater and Haken and Riverside, I guess, maybe kind of falls into that category. But that's not my favorite subgenre. I love all the big bands. I love prog, but don't expect me not to laugh at names like Wobbler. Yeah, it's a silly name, but Wobbler's got something that a lot of the modern prog bands don't have, and that is a world-class singer that could have fit very comfortably in any one of the big prog bands in the 70s, and that's Andres Prestmo. Yeah, Fauna is harder to digest. There's just way more going on. I never liked Floyd. Yeah, we know, Sammy. You know you're not a big Floyd fan. Waters is a brat. That's no doubt. Yeah, Magma is the one as far as like the big prog bands. And Magma's not big, but in the prog circles, I guess they are. If there's one prog band that maybe I have a slight problem with, it's Magma, but I am definitely getting over that. I've been listening to a lot of Magma, and it's starting to click a little bit. I never thought I'd see the day. Yeah, Passage to the Forest of Mysterious, probably the worst album title of the year. I understand Homeboy's Ukrainian, but man, somebody should have told him, right? That's not a typo. Omnipresent One did not type that in wrong. That's the name of the album. Passage to the Forest of Mysterious. Okay. And Amoeba Split, another good one. Yeah. We talked about Amoeba Split a little earlier in the live stream. Fantastic. Yeah, something about modern prog doesn't have the same vibe to it. No, it's a whole different thing. You know, there was something in the air in the 70s. You know, Andy Partridge talks about, from XTC, talks about how making records was always the same to him. He'd go in the studio, he had a bunch of songs, and he'd drop a new album, whatever. And then Dear God broke in the US. And all of a sudden, they're back in the studio to record the follow-up to Skylarkin, and he realized there's going to be a bunch of people listening to this record. And it changed everything for him. It changed his whole thought process, the way he wrote the songs, the way he approached recording the songs, the way he talked to his bandmates about the songs. Everything changed because he knew people were going to be listening. And that's where prog in the 70s had a leg up on prog today. You're a prog band today. You're not in a studio anyway. You're just recording at home, you know, file sharing back and forth. But back in the day, you had this something in your brain that you knew how important this was, that millions of people would be listening to it, and millions of dollars would be going into your pocket. So the stakes were certainly way, way higher. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I use my money for used vinyls. That's the best thing to do. I love metal and I love prog, but they don't really go well together for me. They do sometimes. I'm with you, man. I love metal. I love Priest and Maiden and, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they're better apart than together. Magma sounds more Magma. I don't even know what Magma sounds like. Will you go to Sweden this September for the Flower King's upcoming release party? Well, if Royna Stalt were to send me a plane ticket, I'd go, number one. And number two, I'm not exactly sure if I'm even allowed to leave the country. Seriously, I don't think I can. I am a 3-time felon. I don't think they'll let me leave the country. It's shocking they even let me vote. When I listen to prog, so do my neighbors. Absolutely. A lot of good modern prog bands. Most of them just playing 7/8 and call themselves prog. That's true in some cases. Oh, I love Oranges and Lemons. What a great album. In the end, the music's all that matters, and you know that's for sure. Jazz fusion never got to me unless Alan's album Ramshackle. Ramshackle does not count. That is not a jazz fusion album, Sammy. But it is a good album, and I do enjoy it. But anyway, people, I guess I went another half an hour. That was bonus time. I love you guys so much. I guess I should probably go back to work before the boss fires me. But anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. God save the king. And I will see you punks next week. It's going to be awesome. I'm reading comments. I'm supposed to be hitting the button. Sky Architect. Awesome. 3-time felon. We're going to talk about that later. Peace in the Middle East. I love you guys. Out. Maybe now.